relationship changes, and developing new habits. Recently, I hosted a workshop and people walked away with hope, courage, feeling worthy and seen. I would love to connect with you. Feel free to reach out for a virtual complimentary 60-minute conversation to see if it's a good fit to work together one-on-one, or we can just simply discuss any upcoming events. My website is www.rundeepcoaching.com. That's www.rundeepcoaching.com. I am sending you so much support.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio today is Dave Jackson. He is the owner of the Clinton Save a Lot. Good morning, Dave. How are you?
Good morning. Doing well.
Well, I appreciate you making time with us as always. It's really good to have you out here amid a busy schedule for you and a busy time, I'm sure. Last time, Dave, we caught up with you. We talked inflation. And I don't remember what your outlook was or anybody else's, but where are we at with this right now?
Well, inflation has slowed down. The rate of increase has slowed down. The thing that people forget is if you take an item that was $1, it's $1.50. Now it's going to go up slowly from $1.50 to $1.55 to $1.60. It's never going to go back to $1. Inflation has really been catastrophic on the American families, and it's like a hidden tax. I mean, it's just eating up people's budgets big time. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing this. I guess I'm proud / shocked to say since 1973. I've never seen inflation like this. Nothing even close. It's just absolutely been out of control, and now it's finally slowing down some, but the damage is already done. The prices, once they go up, with few exceptions, they will not go down. The exceptions to that rule are commodities like eggs and flour, sugar, milk, eggs, just different things that have to go up and down, because if they don't, you can't just throw all the stuff away. So these things will fluctuate. Meat. But cereal and chips and all these other items are permanently raised, and my estimate has always been way above most others, and it's 50%. Mm-hmm. And some items have doubled in the last 4 years.
Yeah. Well, and I want to go back to 2020 because that's really kind of the catalyst for this, and it was a lot of things. It was all the money that was pumped into the economy for COVID. There was the as we shut things down for COVID, it became a supply chain and accessibility, and then demand outpaced demand outpaced production and all of that. So let's speak to that a little bit. Maybe do kind of a stop, look, and listen there, Dave. What do you have for us?
Well, like you say, the money pumped into the economy played a role. The supply chain issues played a huge role. Many companies have gone out of business that supplied private label and other products, so there's less competition. The base products to make different things have gone up, and labor, the shortage of labor. And I've never understood why we were fine with labor 4 years ago, and now you can't. I don't have any problem finding people to work, but most companies are in an absolute disastrous situation with not being able to find enough labor to run their production lines. Fuel, of course, has been a huge driver. If you think about how many times fuel affects products, raw goods being shipped to the manufacturer, packaging shipped to the manufacturer, the product being shipped to the warehouse, the product being shipped from the warehouse to the store. Fuel affects things tremendously. And in 2018, I just happened to take a picture of the Freedom Station, which is now closed in Clinton, and gas was $1.79.9. Today it's about $3.75. Wow. So that's a 109% increase. That has an immense impact on inflation. And then the other thing is labor costs. Labor is the number one cost of almost all businesses. In my case, the starting wage has has increased at a 100% rate in the last 5-6 years. That has had an effect on my store of a $300,000 to $400,000 annual increase in payroll. There's only a couple things you can do there. You can get by with less people, which I'm not going to do. You can reduce other expenses, which there's really nothing left for me to do because we got an extremely efficient store with solar panels and all that. The only other thing you can do is raise retails, raise margins. Companies are raising prices like crazy. All the big chains have fattened their margins tremendously. Don't be lulled to sleep thinking any of these big chains that you think are your friends are not increasing their margins and piling on. That's one thing I don't do, is I do not pile on to a serious situation and go, well, I can get away with increasing things even more because the customer won't notice. I tell people I'm a consumer and I'm a retailer. I think like a consumer when I'm setting retail. So I set every retail in my store with the exception of meat. John does that. So I take it very seriously. I look at every cost increase, every suggested retail price, and many times I'll go with the suggested, it depends, or I'll not go up as much, or I won't go up at all. I just can't raise things as fast as the market is going. I can't do that, and I look at that and go, how can we sell this for this retail? This is crazy. I was in a chain store in Bloomington, just to give you an idea how out of control it is. Honeycomb cereal was $9.99 a box.
Are you kidding me?
The exact cereal in my store is $4.89. It's just crazy. Now we're making almost nothing at $4.89. What do you think they're making at $9.99? So yes, you asked a question off air here. How do we make ends meet? Well, we strategically make money on things where we can. We buy right, and then we sell and make a larger margin when we can. But it's not on the backs of the consumer, and it's not on key items. And we just started an initiative here of actually signing and taking credit for the stuff that we do. I was always a little bit afraid to name names, and if you come in my store, you'll see signs that actually have the chain stores in Decatur listed. But on sugar, these are items that matter. These are high-volume items. Sugar, Miracle Whip, flour, brown sugar, powdered sugar, water, eggs, butter. We are under all of the chain stores in Decatur. And, the common misconception for years is, these almighty chain stores, they're big, so they must be cheap, is just not true. So we have silently been under the chain stores on many, many, many items. Now we're actually signing it in our store and taking credit for it and pointing out to the consumer that driving 50 miles round trip at 60 cents a mile doesn't make any sense.
Right.
It never made any sense, but we're just trying to point it out. We are not just cherry picking these things. We have been lower than these chain stores for many, many years, and we've just kind of quietly done it.
It's funny. I was talking about this with a friend of mine the other day, and I made mention to the fact you have done this. You have gone to these retailers to compare your prices to make sure that you're, if you're not lower, you're competitive. You know
Right.
what I mean? And that's something you've done even before COVID, even before inflation. You were
Right.
doing that. I remember you telling me that.
Absolutely. I've always taken. I'm one of the only Save-A-Lots in the country that has stayed true to form. We are an everyday low-price retailer. Hard discount. We do not run ads. There's no gimmicks, no games, no drawings, no 10 for 10 sales. We don't use the word sale. The word sale is a 4-letter word in our store. We just do not use it. Because sale means I'm giving you a deal this week, but I'm sticking it to you the next week. It's just the truth. And when you come in my store, it's even keel. You just know the prices are fair. Am I the lowest on every item? Absolutely not. But we're very low and we're very fair. And I don't know what else anyone could really be looking for. We're very fresh, of course, and friendly and all the other issues. But right now, price is a big deal. And it's just it's been the most frustrating 4 years watching these costs go up, and sometimes 2 or 3 times a year the cost will increase.
Yeah, it's insane. It really is. And it's funny you mentioned the box of cereal. I was up in Chicago. This was before COVID, well before COVID, and was with a friend, and he had to go to the grocery store for a few things. And it was the basics. It was we needed a gallon of milk, we needed cereal, we needed, I think they needed eggs or something. So we would go up there, and milk was like $5 a gallon. This was before COVID. The cereal was like $8 a box. Like that's like Chicago stuff. I would fear to think what it is up there right now.
Right. It's unbelievable. We don't have a box of cereal in our store currently over $5. Mm-hmm. Go look at the price of cereal in any grocery store. You will be shocked. And the other thing that's been going on is this hidden inflation, stealth inflation, whatever. I mean, the shrinking of products without a shrinking of the retail. So an example is Crisco oil just went from the standard 48-ounce bottle, which it was forever, to 40 ounces. The front of the bottle looks the same. The bottle's not as deep. That's a 16% increase in price without raising the price. Mm-hmm. So factored into this phony inflation rate that the government puts out, that is not factored in. They ignore that. And the other thing they do, of course, in this national inflation rate is and I know I'm jumping all over the place, but
you're fine.
The other thing is that they do not include the two biggest things that affect a family's budget, fuel and groceries. They conveniently, and have done this for years, toss out these two volatile things that are huge. So my contention is the inflation rate in this country is about 20%, and the inflation rate on food is 50%.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you're easily paying double of a lot of things from a few years ago.
I have seen many items double in the last 4 years, some even more than double, and I'm continuing to see things shrink in size, chips taken out of bags, cereal boxes. I said, Jethro could eat an entire box of cereal at once with some of these boxes. They're so small now. They just are taking advantage of the consumer, and they can't justify what they're doing. Mm-hmm. I mean, some of it's justifiable. I mean, their costs are going up. They deserve to raise. They need to raise their cost. But they are piling on and taking advantage of it.
Dave, let's take a break here. Let's come back with some more. Dave Jackson, owner of the Clinton Save-A-Lot, my guest in studio. More to come with him on The Morning Show.
WHOW.
Let's check the opening numbers now at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Monday. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network. Corn starting the day steady, beans higher, and wheat trading lower. May corn $4.39 and a quarter, down 3/4. July corn down a penny, $4.49. New crop December $4.72 and a half, down a penny. May beans starting the day $11.67 3/4, up 8 1/4. July beans up 8 1/4, $11.85 and a half. New crop November $11.81 3/4, up 7. May Chicago wheat $5.98, down 5 1/4. July wheat down 5 1/2, $6.16 3/4. September wheat $6.36 and a half, down 5 1/4. May bean meal $3.44.80, up 4.80. May bean oil $45.08, up 15 cents. Opening numbers on this Monday morning. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4 lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
Have you started spring cleaning? At Love It Once More Thrift Store in Clinton, you can bring us donations during our regular business hours, 10 to 5 Monday through Friday and 10 to 3 on Saturdays. This is Connie. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or at DeWhatDailyNews.com to learn about our weekly sales.
Hi, this is Ryan Dalton with Utterback Real Estate. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and houses are still selling lightning fast. But please don't stand under a tree. So if you're looking to buy or sell, give us a call. We'd love the opportunity to help.
To buy or sell, click the Utterback Real Estate icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Dave Jackson, owner of the Clinton Save-A-Lot, is my guest in studio today. Dave, I wanted you to speak to something a little further. You talked about prices going up, and labor costs are going up. You talked about that a little bit. To bring food in and all of that. All these things are going up. How are you able to keep your prices low? Speak to that a little bit, and still come out ahead for your business. I mean, at the end of the day, you are a business. You have to make money. How about that?
Profit is not a dirty word. You have to have profit in order to reinvest in your business. So we have to be profitable if we want to do the cool things that we do and have the benefits and things that we have at the store. But the one thing is our volume continues to grow. We are. I just found this out at a Save-A-Lot meeting I was at. We are the most overperforming Save-A-Lot in the country. In other words, based on their model for what we should be doing in a town this size, we are doing 136% more than we're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. So, we're doing over double what we should do in a town this size. And Save-A-Lot just shakes their head as a company because they can't figure it out. Over half of our business is coming from out of the market. We get people from 20, 30, and 40-mile radius in order to do that kind of a volume. So we are pulling people to Clinton, and that volume allows us to keep our prices low. And again, we're strategic about where we make money. So when we have a chance to make some money on a pallet of a product, yeah, sure we do, because we got to compensate for things like eggs we're $1.99 a dozen right now, and my friends out of town are sitting at $2.32, $2.09, and $2.06. We try to make sure that we are right on these items, and then we compensate elsewhere. And that doesn't mean we stick it to people elsewhere. It just means we are very strategic about our pricing. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is we don't starve the building for labor. We have 32 employees. You almost never have to wait to get checked out. And on top of that, we don't make you be the cashier either. So we try to make sure in order to grow, you have to have inputs, and the inputs is labor and personnel, people to do the job. And in order to absorb the growth that we've experienced for 24 years straight, we believe in our people. We have a great team of people, and we have great benefits, and people stick around. We don't have any turnover to speak of. Mm-hmm. So it really is a challenge. This is the most challenging 4 years I've ever been through. It's just off the chart.
I want to ask you this. Last time you were in, we talked about the supply chain and how getting certain items was a challenge, and your network to bring in things that people needed, maybe they weren't finding elsewhere. What are you seeing there? Has that eased at all?
The supply chain has definitely eased. The thing that's really sad is many companies have gone out of business that supply private label and brand manufacturers. There's been a lot of consolidation, and it has really affected the private label part of the industry. But it has certainly improved dramatically. It's not 100% there. The cocoa market has gone crazy, and baking chips and baking cocoa is going to skyrocket this fall. I don't know what the cause of that is, but there's a worldwide shortage of it. So in order to temper that, I bought 5,000 bags of baking chips, and I've got them stored at my old store in my warehouse. So I try to do these things and get ahead of the game when I can. Mm-hmm. But the supply chain's definitely improved.
Well, based on you've been at this game for decades, and you mentioned this has been a challenging 4 years, but this is a game What's your outlook? What do you foresee coming?
Well, I certainly don't see inflation. Things are not going to be reversed. There's no way the rate of inflation could continue because we'd all be bankrupt. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. So I think it's kind of peaked. Now it's just going to be a slower rate of increase going forward. I don't know what. 5 years ago, if you asked me what was going to happen in 2020, I never would have predicted that. I mean, this has been a roller coaster ride. It's just been unbelievable.
I wanted to know, do you hear from, because you talked about the devastation of inflation on families and, particularly low-income families where maybe they rely on the WICs and the SNAPs and all of those things, particularly elderly, where they're on fixed incomes and these things are going up and their subsidies are probably not. Do you hear testimony from customers? What do they say to you about your store, what it means to them? Do you hear any of that?
Well, actually, I do. One thing that keeps me motivated, besides the fact I love the business, is I'll have customers stop me and holler down the aisle or walk up to me and say, hey, I want to thank you for what you've done and what the store has done to control inflation and to keep it where we can afford to buy groceries. I mean, I hear this on a very regular basis. It just drives home the fact that what we're doing is having an impact and people are noticing it. And, it really does mean a lot. I mean, it really does motivate me to continue to do what we're doing and to look for ways to do more of the same kind of thing.
You talked about a challenge with the cocoa baking stuff, maybe coming this fall. Anything you're seeing now that's a challenge, whether it's keeping their prices low, whether it's a supply thing? What's a trend you're noticing the here and now that maybe consumers should be aware of, Dave?
I don't know. Of course, produce, fluctuates back and forth. Beef, we keep hearing beef's going to go crazy, and it has increased, but not as much as they predicted. So I think beef's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Pork and chicken is a quick recovery item, but beef is slow. And once the herd is too small, it doesn't recover. It takes 3 years to recover. Mm-hmm. So there's really not anything. I mean, everything's gone up about as much as it can. So other than a supply issue, we keep having avian flu situations with chickens, and then when they have to kill millions of egg-laying chickens, and eggs go up and down, but nothing else besides the cocoa market.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Very good. Well, Dave, are you on social media, the World Wide Web? Can folks follow you in those places?
Sure. Go to Clinton Save a Lot, and we're on Facebook. We just posted the greenhouse just opened, so check us out. We always have interesting posts. We don't. It's usually about people, not products. Mm-hmm. So
very good.
All right.
Follow you there. Dave, good to see you, my friend. Thank you for coming out this morning. Dave Jackson, owner of the Clinton Save a Lot, our guest in studio today. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Network news on the way.
WHOW.
The Big